Happening, everybody? We are back with another tier list. Today we are doing my favorite set of TFT Set 4, the Chosen set. We will be doing set 4.5 as well in a future video. But please let me know down in the comments what you guys think about where I place these champs from that old great Chosen set. Don't forget, like, subscribe. That will really help me out. Check out other TFT content and tier lists as well. And let us get started. Oh, who do I start with here? Let's see. We'll go Zillion. Zillion, I think, was definitely an S tier, definitely worth the 5 cost cultist build. Honestly, if you had 9 cultists, if you got to that point, it was minimum a guaranteed top 4. If not just kind of a guaranteed win. It was definitely a very strong build so long as you had the right team. Definitely more in the mid set for that, what I just said, but still, Zillion was definitely one of the best 5 costs in being able to pick up your team. My favorite champ, arguably of all time, Vigor, gotta be S tier. This dude, Mage Elderwood, worked so well with this man, and if you had 3 Mage or even more, Jeweled Gauntlet, Hextech Gunblade, and whatever else on this dude, he was shooting missiles, one-tapping everybody. Not too difficult to 3-star. He was a fucking beast. And honestly, a lot of the Elderwood champs, I loved Elderwood Mage because it was so easy to get. Being able to do, you know, like, let's say 5 Elderwood, that's automatically 2 Brawlers in there, that's automatically, you know, 2 Mage in there, and that's not including if you choose the Chosen. So there was definitely a lot you could do with Elderwood and a lot of ways you could go. Another S tier champ, I have to put Kennen up there. I think he was a fantastic frontline champ. You could definitely splash him in, even just for the ninja, but he was also a very good keeper build, but definitely a great frontline champ and could definitely hold your team and carry it pretty well even without items. Let's go Tom Kinch. Honestly, Tom Kinch, I'll give to A. I think he was a very strong 1-cost tank holder. I think he was definitely worth placing some items on, especially in the early game to just tank the shit out of your team. Now, I will say the biggest downside, he's definitely like A minus B plus area, but him only being Brawler and then Fortune kind of sets a lot of these champs that, you know, it's hard to put, you know, Fortune or what's currently an Underground in set 8.5, which is when I'm recording this, and other traits like that where you have to win streak or loss streak. It's hard to warrant cashing out and running those champions consistently. Let's see. Kindred. I'm going to give Kindred A. I don't think she's S, and the biggest reason why is probably her traits. Honestly, I think her traits were definitely good. Spirit Hunter, and I think honestly maybe even a 3rd trait, or maybe the 3rd trait came in or got dropped off in the mid set. But either way, she was very strong 3-cost carry, and her traits were okay, but she was definitely more of a splash champ. But if you were running her traits, she was definitely the carry in that. Zed, I'm going to give Zed to A. I think while he was very strong and definitely a good carry, I think again he's one of those champs where his traits kind of messed him up. I believe he was just an assassin ninja. I don't think he was anything else. I want to say maybe, I don't think he was in the cultist team, so I'm not really sure. I forget, honestly. It's been a really long time. But overall, still very solid carry, and a solid choice overall. Diana also, I have to put an A. I think she was a fantastic one-cost carry, especially early game. Assassin Dusk, or Moonlight actually, sorry, it's not Dusk. Or was she, I think she was just 2. I think she was Moonlight Assassin. Dusk was some other champs. But anyway, Moonlight was definitely an awesome trait that I liked to run as well if I wasn't running Elderwoods or Cultists. Those were my 3 go-tos for sure. But she was definitely a strong one cost and definitely worth 3-starring and building around for sure. Hecarim, gotta love him, gotta put him in A. He's definitely one of my other favorite champs as well. Same with Diana, but Hecarim definitely could tank the shit out of an Elderwood team with some items. I think him, and okay, Maokai, honestly, I'll just give to C. I think he was just kind of a splash guy. He wasn't too great, but Nunu I'll give to B. I feel like this was arguably the worst Nunu that we've seen, possibly. Maybe like B plus A minus area. But having these 3 up front with like Vigor, Lulu in the back was a very, very solid team overall for sure. If you could get, these 2 brawlers and get Chosen Viego for 3 mage, and then there's 5 Elderwood if you throw in Hecarim, that is a fantastic team without items, let alone if you put some on everybody. Lux, I will give to A as well. There are so many times that her shield definitely saved so many people and definitely won some rounds. Absolutely. Sejuani, everybody always talks so highly of Sejuani, but honestly, as a 4-cost and running Fortune, never, just never. The only time I would splash her in is for brawlers, but still, she was never my chosen carry for even that. I never have enjoyed Sejuani in any set. I think she's super overrated in my opinion, but that's just me. Ezreal, honestly, same. I don't remember him being big in this set at any point. I think he was pretty just lackluster. I don't even remember his cost. It's either like 1 or 5. Big difference there, but never really made too big of a difference to me. Janna, I'll give to B. I think she was solid for her cost, and being, what was she, like enlightened mage, maybe something else, I forget, but overall good, but probably not really going to throw some items on her. Aurelia, I think, was definitely a very strong 3-cost carry with multiple traits. I think the only reason why she's not really an S is just because, honestly, none of her traits really pushed her that much further. She was definitely a good splash carry. So definitely best like utility splash carry, arguably in the set, but I just don't think that overall between her traits and her kit that she really got to that next level. Garen, honestly, I never felt like made too much of a difference. Definitely easy early splash for Warlord and whatnot, but nothing too crazy. Jarvan, I'll give to B, I think, mostly just because of his ability stun. But other than that, definitely, again, a decent splash champ, trait bot type, but nothing too crazy. Pyke, honestly, Pyke this set I gotta put in B. While his traits were good for him and he's still good, I think this is again probably one of the worst Pykes that we've seen. I just think that a lot of other people really outshined him. in this set, and I feel like he didn't really play too large of a role as much as some of the other assassins like Zed or even Katarina. Katarina I'm going to put in B. I think she was a strong assassin, definitely could do a shit ton of damage, but she was definitely a splash assassin, a trait bot, just because of how bad Fortune was. Not necessarily if you were running it. If you enjoyed running Fortune, absolutely go ahead, but you know, it's hard to warrant putting champs up higher because of that, because of how inconsistent that can be. Warwick, pretty much always an S tier, at least a high tier. Super strong, always the same every single set. They never nerf this man. Always worth pick up and carry and splash for sure. Nothing bad to say about him. Pretty sure he had 3 traits this time as well. Yone, I'll give to A. Definitely a solid 5-cost carry. Um, I just think there's better 5-cost carries like Lee Sin for sure, as well as Set. I think both of them were, these 3 were the 5-cost carries of the set, in my opinion, that really made a huge difference. Kane up there as well, but not as significant as somebody like Set. Lee Sin kicking people off Set, just slamming everybody down. Moonlight Aphelios was definitely a very strong carry, putting out so many turrets and doing so much damage. Definitely worth running, absolutely. Elise, this set not too crazy. I think she was much more of just a trait bot splash champ. Annie, I would love to put her higher than B. She was definitely always is a solid 2-cost tank, but again with the fortune trait being one of hers, it's hard to put her up higher. That's actually Vayne. I'm sorry about that. Vayne definitely deserves a little bit higher, but Elise again did not. It's hard to remember what everybody looks like. Aatrox, I'll give to B. I think he was a solid choice, but even with Cultist, you were definitely putting more items on people like Evelyn for sure. You were putting them on Callista. You were putting them on Jhin. I think these were all super solid choice carries. Evelyn definitely just cut people the hell up. Callista much more in the mid set than this one, did so much fast damage. And Jhin, no matter how bad his traits are every single set, if they put him in, he's a solid choice, and he's usually a pretty high cost as well. Jinx, honestly, not really great. Again, mostly it was sharpshooter fortune, so not really anything working for her. Sharpshooters were okay sometimes. I think it was sharpshooters in this set. Yeah, it was with Teemo. But still nothing nothing too crazy to say about her. Yasuo, I'll give to B. I think he was a super. Actually, I'm gonna give him to A. I think he was definitely one of the top 1-cost carries in this set. Nidalee, not so much. Shin, definitely. I gotta put Shin in S. Honestly, mostly because of having 3 traits, one of them being assassin, so you can splash him in at any time, and he is a very solid champ pretty much always. So he was definitely always, almost everybody had this man in their lineup, or at least thought about it. Every single game, you saw him on at least 2 people's team, if not their bench. Vi in this set, I don't remember her being too insane or crazy. Still a good champ, obviously, with her breaking everybody's shit, but nothing much more past that. Wukong, definitely never really saw much of him, and definitely not a one-cost carry for the team. Talon, I will give. I'm gonna give to A for sure. Probably more towards A plus. He was definitely a great four-cost carry. Enlightened assassin for sure that could do it. But I don't know. I think he was definitely one of the champs that there are some that can at least remotely carry without items, but he is not one of them. You had to have items for this man to be able to truly carry. And that's kind of the same with everybody, but he needed it more than a lot more. That's just my opinion about it. Let's see. Twisted Fate. Nothing crazy. Never really did much as the cultist dude. I forget what his other trait was. Akali, I'm going to give to A. I think her being Ninja Assassin and possibly something else, but even if it was just this two, she was always very strong, very good. But you kinda, if you were gonna run her and make her the carry, you really had to get a team around her. But she was still always very devastating, and definitely more in sets after this one for sure. Thresh, I'll give to B. Thresh is always pretty solid champ, no matter what version of him he is. But from what I remember, I think he was like Vanguard Dusk or Moonlight or maybe all three or both, or I don't know. But nothing too crazy. We're never seeing him as the carry. Lysandra, I gotta give to B. She always came through for me, honestly. That's why she's B. I would put her in C, but honestly, with her traits and her always seeming to do pretty well for a one cost, she is worth the B slot to me. Jax is always super annoying, does super well. I think this is, again, like a lot of these champs seem to be, this is arguably one of his worst versions of him, or at least traits and everything. I don't know, but overall still a very, very solid choice. Could definitely carry, but nothing too crazy. Now, Aurelia for 5 cost, or I'm sorry, this is not Aurelia, this is Liliana, my bad. Honestly, I gotta put in B. I think she is arguably the worst 5 cost in this set. And I don't remember her traits being very splashable either, or wanting to work for her, you know? I actually don't remember this guy. I know he was a keeper, but I don't remember anything about him. I remember him being okay, but definitely again with the bad 5 cost situation. Ashe is always pretty good. We'll give her to A. Let's see. Naomi, honestly, to me, deserves an A. I think she was a super strong 2 cost with her ability being able to. I think this is the one where she splashed up 1 to 2 enemy champs, but her traits were very splashable. She was very good. Definitely a great utility 2 cost. She may have been a 1 in this set, actually. 1 or 2. Yumi with the healing definitely came in clutch so often. And honestly, you could definitely build a team around her. I know she was Spirit. I forget the other one. What a lot of these. I think she may have been Enlightened or something, but super solid with the heals for sure. Riven. Yeah, I think Riven could definitely just carry. Everybody swears by her this set. I didn't use her that much. So this is definitely like community Feedback for Riven for sure being S tier in set 4, especially with her traits. But I personally never really used her that much. She was definitely good when I did. Not S tier quality in my opinion, but we'll give that one to boil it down to everybody else swears by her. Fiora in this set, I'll give her to A. I think this was one of the better Fioras we've seen. I think in one of the next few sets she's the best, but in the current set 8.5 or 8, pretty trash to me. Timu, great splash champ, did pretty decent overall with ability and damage and whatnot, but nothing past that. Definitely not gonna choose Timu as my carry. Ari, for this set, I honestly don't remember her being super great. I know in set either 6 or 7 she was arguably the best champ in the set, but this one I don't remember her being too insane. Kaisa here, definitely a strong Dusk champ. I don't remember her very well either, but I do remember her being super strong. Silas as Moonlight, I believe Brawler. I don't remember him being too great, but he was definitely a good champ. Nothing to really complain about him, but no great things to say about him either. Morgana, honestly, both of these, I forget this guy's name. It's like Zhao Xin or something like that. But both are decent, but even though they're higher cost, I never really felt like they were the carries with whatever you were building. But this was my personal favorite set. I probably would say either this one or set 4.5, or even maybe like 6 or 7, give or take. Or 5 or 6, sorry, not 7. But let me know what you guys think, where you guys would place your champs from this beautiful chosen set set 4, and we will do 4.5 in another video, so feel free to check out my other TFT content. More is always coming. We're always playing the next and current set of TFT, but don't forget, like, subscribe, and we will check you in the next one.